Greetings, viewers, and thanks for joining me out in the shop today with my shiny Tundra in my sights. Look how shiny it is. You have a real nice, much-needed hand wash with some real good turtle wax soap. She's the shiniest she's been, I think. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I told you about my brake issue. One more look at them tires. I moved them from the front to the back. Getting them off and rolling them around, that is clearly the worst spot, which is terrible. The sides didn't take it so tough. While it does make a slappy sound on the back, you can't really feel it. I know it's there, and my axle probably looks silly hopping going down the road, but it's so minor at highway speeds you don't even notice it. And running around town, once you get used to it, and the rough roads anyway. Anyway, enough about that. I'm not replacing these tires. The one on the driver's side had some little rough, scratchy parts on it. The other spots on that one were the same, but that was by far the worst spot. So, moved them to the front. Finally ditched those plastic caps I was running just because they came with the wheels, and I just don't like them. They trap water behind them. They trap mud and stuff behind them on this truck. I think they just look so much better without it. I took them off. What I'm doing to my truck related to the brake issue is wiring my brake controller up properly. This is the kit I got off Amazon. It was like 25, I think, 25 bucks. 51500. I can't remember the price for sure, but I think so. Kurt brake controller wiring kit number 51500. That's what it looks like. Comes with the self-resetting fuse, a duplex wire, single wire, some connectors. This is that duplex wire. Very nice. Gives you a little extra. Nice. Here's the instructions that come with it. Pretty simple. White goes to your battery ground. Black goes to your battery hot with your little self-resetting breaker in there. The red one goes to your brake pedal signal switch, the hot or the cold side. So the side that's only hot when the brake pedal is depressed. I'll show you where that is on a 2000 Tundra. And the blue one goes to the electric trailer brake. Excuse me. And I just run my black one to the hot side. Over here to my self-resetting breaker. I just mounted it through that 10 millimeter right there that holds my fuse box. White one, same thing, to the ground. They run into the duplex wire. You can see it right there in its gray sheath. Now I take the blue one that goes from the cab out and of course run it through here too at the same time. Just push that down, that grommet down there in the bottom corner. Push it down with a big blade screwdriver. You can shove both those wires through. They will come through in the spot right above, whoops, right there where you can see the hood latch cable. Those wires will come through there, the duplex wire and the blue wire. Run them up above the fuse box so they're out of the way of the emergency brake. They go to this plug right here that goes to my P3 Tundra brake controller. This just plugs in the back. The red wire from this plug goes to the brake pedal switch. I'll show you in a minute. The blue one to the blue, the black to the black, and the white to the white. There are two grounds. You can run them together like I did, or you can ground one under here to something metal. It's just as easy to tie them together, and they both go to battery ground. Okay. This is your brake light switch on a 2000 Tundra. It meets the little green rubber pad there. It's got a 4-wire plug on the back of it. Let me spread them apart. Okay, of those 4 wires, I can tell you which one it is. Because this one is blue with a black stripe. This one is black. Oop, where'd I go? I'm sorry. Oh, hell, that isn't working at all. Hang on just a second. Let me show you something better here. Let me get my light in a better place, a mo better spot. This bottom wire, even though it looks green, it is blue with a black stripe. This one over here next to it is black with an orange stripe. The one here on your top left is green with the yellow stripe. Now, with your test light grounded, get up there and poke it into your yellow light or your green and yellow wire and see how it illuminates that. I'm just poking that little pointy point into that wire. The one clear over there. The back one that's green and yellow, top left. Okay, next to it, I've already put my clippy thing on before I thought about doing this. But the one on the top and right is the signal out. That's the one you want to go to. I've already tapped into it. You can't see what color. Yeah, you can see green and white stripe there. I tapped into it with that connector I had on my own. It doesn't come in the kit. You can tell by poking that wire and then stepping on the brake. And then, of course, after you've got it hooked up, test it at your plug up here with your wire in, step on the brake, and it lights up. So that's my power to my unit that tells me I'm braking. That activates the inertia switch inside here, which works off of how fast your vehicle is slowing down, like airbags have inertia switches. There's an inertia switch inside here. This thing has to be pointing forward. It can be sideways or forward. It can't be at an angle because it has to be able to detect thrust in either one of these directions. So enough about that when mounting comes. I probably won't show you that, but you'll get to see it later. So the black ties in with the black duplex. That's your power and ground, your black and white. Then your blue wire that you're sending back out, that's your signal out from your brake controller. Oops, let me get my cord up out of there, my light. Okay, a little tutorial, sorry. Not doing it right in front of you, got started. Now, the blue wire I'll run down along with my fuel lines, along the inside of the frame. That'll keep it plenty out of the way. When I get back here to the back, this is why I took off my 04 Tundra. I'm going to trim it down so that it's smaller. Eliminate all these plugs down here, but basically these wires up here are the same as the trailer wires that would plug into a flat 4 here, and that's your turn signals, brake lights, and running lights, and a ground. Your blue wire will tie into this wire, which is also going to be blue over here. One of these, as I understand it, is to power backup lights on a trailer or powered lights on the trailer, and the other one is a signal wire to possibly charge a battery or to send power back or receive charge. Someone tried to explain it to me. It's got something to do with either charging your emergency trailer brake battery or a battery on your trailer that you use for something else. So anyway, I'll just put a flat 4 plug right onto those wires and plug that in. My blue one will be wired. I'll do a connector I can take apart. So let me get my big butt underneath the truck here and I'll show you how to adjust the rear brakes real quick while I'm here. Okay, under the back, you can see that adjuster, the tab that you have to take off. That gets you to your adjusters. Now you'd have the back wheel just barely off the ground. If you spin it and it spins real free, you're out of adjustment. I seriously adjust mine at every oil change. I just did it like clockwork, didn't even think to show somebody maybe you don't know. Drum brakes get out of adjustment. I seriously adjust mine at every oil change. So take a stubby screwdriver, stick it in the slot closest, farthest forward towards the front, slide it back till it stops only a little bit. That's your adjusting wheel. There's a little wheel with teeth if you look in there. It's always about 3/4 of the way to the back. Using the backing plate as a lever, push the handle down. You'll hear click, click, click as you do. That raises the blade up. That turns your adjusting wheel up and tightens your brakes. To get it real accurate, get out every few clicks and push your brake pedal. That centers your pads again. Not necessary in my opinion. I spin the wheel until I hear it start to lightly rub. And that's when I call it done. Then I'll put them back on. You can tell the difference in your pedal. It's one of those things that wears out like shocks and stuff. You don't notice it. It's gradual. And then all of a sudden you adjust it and you're like, wow, that's great. So that's why I like to do mine at every oil change. Hang on just a minute, let me get out from under here. Okay, so that's basically the trailer brakes and adjustment of the rear brakes. Poor truck needs some be addressed. I use it for work a lot, and I haven't been chasing quite as many, and I haven't put as many miles on it since the last oil change, every 5,000 miles. Seems to me like it just felt like I let it go, because when I did the oil change, a common issue with the front lift is you tear your CV boots. Them 22-year-old boots are torn. I've shown you how to replace CV axle, which by the way, it's exactly the same on the first gen Tundras as it is on the 4Runner. Remind me to show you something funny there. So I've shown you how to replace CV axles. I ordered boots. So I'm going to show you how to reboot your stock Toyota axles, because they didn't get hurt. They weren't in 4-wheel drive except to get me out of the median. Just driving on the highway. They tear at the bottom. The grease flings to the highest point. Sure, you'll lose some. Compared to what's in there, you'd be surprised when I take these apart. So I got those boots coming. I'm going to show you how to save your factory Toyota ones for less than 30 bucks instead of buying ones from a auto parts store. Generally aren't as good as the factory Toyota ones. So enough about that. I'll do that East Coast gear supply bushing and reseal the differential driver's side seal on this. It's also leaking just barely. The one I wanted to laugh about, the seal I bought from Toyota has now started leaking. The friggin' pattern it's leaving on my garage floor is comical, because that's exactly the layout of where there are 3 seals on this front differential. How are all 3 of those leaking on me? So I got to source another $31 seal from Toyota. I got a pinion seal from my local place, and thankfully I forgot all about it. The CV axle seal come in the kit with the East Coast Gear Supply bushing because I ordered it. Now I get to use it. So I've got 2 of the 3. I'm gonna have to get under there and pull both them axles in the drive shaft again and change those. Probably don't want to hear me cuss while that happens, but I'll be back for more on this. Rear brakes adjusted up makes me feel better. Trailer brakes being rewired is definitely necessary. I just had it wired up with all 1 gauge of wire that I had here. I knew that wasn't right. Plus my trailer, the brakes are not right on it. Damn, that's shiny. Yeah, the brakes aren't right on it. Only 1 axle was working. The grease leaks out of the seals, the bearing seals, and gets on the drum, and the magnet can't grip because they're the magnetic electric brake. So I'll get that in here and do a separate video on that. Thanks for joining me as I ramble on a little bit about the Tundra. More to come as the rear locker. We have a Detroit Tree Track install will be coming up. So more on this. I get her back in shape. I gave her that fresh hand wash. Looking good. Fresh oil change. I got them boots I'm going to do. Yeah, rear brakes adjusted up. Feeling better already. You just got to keep up with the maintenance. I'm telling you. So like and subscribe if you want to do that. Check links in the description if you want to do that. Liking and subscribing helps me, and it's free, painless. easy. So yeah, if you want to do that. I just appreciate you stopping by. Hope y'all have a great day.